Well, hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
Welcome.
Try it, Danny. You try it.
Hi, friends.
Hey,
you gotta get it, put it up in your mask, in your head.
friends.
Buddy, my mask, that's about as far as it'll get up in there.
Is it?
Yeah,
wedged all the way
yours
in
is
there.
like a canyon, apparently.
Well, there's a lot of space up there. Sure is. Well, in this episode of Double Take the Podcast, we are talking again with our fearless leader, Danny Riley.
I don't know that he's fearless. Are
He's
you
pretty fearless.
Yeah,
If you went through the things he's went through, he's pretty fearless.
He ought to be fearless by now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, at least you're excited about talking with us today. That's
I
good.
am. Y'all just hadn't. There's nothing that is engaging yet.
Now, we included you on an episode with your dad, Tim, on
Mhm.
Father's Day.
You did?
And one when Chris bothered to leave before we were supposed to do
Yeah,
it.
that one, and then we
Two.
did another one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a frequent flyer on
Yeah.
this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And you should be.
It has nothing to do with when we can't get other guests that we put you on at
Well,
all.
I
Either.
know.
It's because we want you on this
I know
podcast.
when I'm on a podcast, it's because y'all ran out of podcasts. We've got to have one for this week. We'll just get Danny.
No, it's not that way. We actually started last week, going in depth with all the members of Gold City. So,
So what are you saying? This ain't going to be very long?
oh come on, man! This is there's a lot that's going on in your life. Chris, I want to kind of take it slow like we do with Jeff, and just kind of work through early parts of childhood,
Yeah.
leading up to Gold City, as far as all the. Danny's done about every job you could possibly do.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Gold City. From
Yeah.
what was the first job with the bundles?
Well, you know, back then they sold 3 for $10s.
Yeah.
They'd go in the studio and cut 3 albums, and each, you know, it'd be 10 songs on a cassette, and they did 3 cassettes all at one time and called it 3 for $10s. And I was, you know, when people bought those, there was a rubber band around it. I was the guy that put the rubber band around them.
You were the rubber band man.
Yep, I got paid a nickel per bundle.
Yeah.
I was rich.
Your dad just got. Did Doug get in on that, or
No.
that was just yours?
Yeah, I was the one that was motivated to get in there and get something done.
How old were you?
I was probably 12.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
gotcha. So you weren't born in Gadsden or Dahlonega. You were born in Pensacola.
I was when Dad was singing with the Dixie Echoes. My brother was born in Gadsden, and then Dad went with the Dixie Echoes, and I was born there in Pensacola. And then my sister.
What year was that? 1953.
Oh, come on now. 1972, and then my sister was born in.
We
born
are
in
on the bus.
Gadsden
If
as
you heard
well.
that horn.
Yeah, if it's
So-
a little noisy, folks, we're going down the road, and apparently we just had to get somebody straightened out
Yep,
out there with
yep.
the air horn. But anyway,
1962.
72.
72.
Josh.
Okay.
72.
Sorry, I didn't know what he said.
But yeah, I was born in 72 when Dad was singing with the Dixie Echoes, and I don't remember any of it, but I heard it was a great time.
Living in Pensacola would have been great.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
You didn't know because
No.
y'all moved. How old were you when you moved back to
You
Gadsden?
know, I honestly don't have any idea.
Really?
I have no idea.
Well, how long was Tim with the Dixie Echoes? That was the second time he was with them?
Yeah, I don't think he was there a lot longer after I was born, but because he came home and they started the Southmen,
Yeah.
and you know they sang regionally there around home, and
Was that original group? Did it have Jack in it?
I don't remember.
Okay. I've always wondered that because
Well, you know they had, of course, Jim Hefner sang tenor, Larry
yeah.
Beck sang baritone,
who did?
Larry Beck,
Larry Beck. Yeah.
and then of course Dad sang bass, and then I remember Jack and Buddy Burton are the 2 lead singers I
Right.
remember. So I don't know which one was first.
Huh. That would be interesting. I would love to. I wish there was an album with Jack and your dad on it. Have you
There
got
is.
one? Do you have it?
Oh yeah.
Where is it? I'd like to.
I don't
maybe
know where it
take
is right now, but I'll see if I can scrounge it up.
You ought
for
to have 2 or 3 laying around. You could give Chris and I one.
Yeah, I can make you a copy. Don't tell anybody.
You know, we also were notified last week. Somebody researched it and sent us the album cover of the Southman that Under Control was originally on, that Tim originally cut Under Control. And on that cover was Mark Trammell. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Mark
was on it, and Randy
he played
Matthews
the-
was on
played
it.
Randy
the bass.
Matthews.
too.
That's right.
Mark played the bass. That's when I met Mark, when he was with Southman.
Well, he couldn't have been. How old was he?
I
16?
figure he was probably at least 70 back then. We always called Mark the oldest young man we've ever known.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I know he started with the Senators when he was. It was in his teens.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, my earliest memory of Mark Trammell,
and that would have been
was-
before the Southman.
was we lived on a little street, a little circle called Belmar Circle, and for some reason I have this memory of Mark in our carport.
Really?
Yeah,
Just hanging out.
just hanging out in the carport. I was out there.
I mean, you had to be little.
Oh, I was.
Well, I mean, you were young. You ain't never been
I was
little.
probably 4.
Yeah. So what were you, about 5'3"?
4, I think. 5'4". Yeah.
Danny gets ribbed every now and again about being a tall guy.
Yeah.
He's very statuesque. Is that a word?
So you relocated from Pensacola to Gadsden. Your dad was singing with the Southman, and then you tell the story of when you were about 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. You remember these guys coming around, and
Yeah, I remember they came in that first Gold City bus that Floyd had built called the Nugget, and it had a big mural on the side of it of a man panning for gold. You know, it was this whole scene. You can find that picture online, but
He had that bus built.
yes,
Did you know it was built in Rockmart, Georgia?
Yeah, I knew that.
Did you really know that?
No,
you
I
didn't know
didn't.
that. See,
I had
it's
no idea.
Finally.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't know it was
See
built in
there?
Rockmart.
How about
Josh
that?
knows something, Chris.
You know why I
How
know
about that? How you know?
The only reason I know that, I didn't know that till last year. Gary told me.
Huh.
I don't know how that came up one day, but he said that bus was built in Rockmart, Georgia.
But I remember that bus came around on that circle, and I was in awe. You know, the Southman had a bus,
yeah.
but it was like a charter bus, you know.
Was it an Eagle or was it like a 4104 or something?
The Nugget?
No, the Southman's
No,
was.
it was an Eagle.
It was an Eagle?
Yeah.
But it was a Greyhound or something they just took and...
It was a Trailways, I think.
Yeah.
It still had that red stripe down the side
Really?
of it, yeah. But, yeah, the Nugget pulled up out there. I was in awe. You know, I'd never seen nothing like that. And, but those guys came in the house and gathered around the piano there in our living room.
So who was it? It was Jerry Ritchie.
It was Jerry Ritchie, Bob Oliver, Ken Trussell. And
Okay.
I don't remember who else was there
Yeah.
as far as, you know.
Had
piano
John
player.
Reinhardt started playing piano yet with him?
I don't remember.
Was he the original piano player? Or like
He was there before
he was
Gary.
before Gary. Gary went in 81.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think. Maybe he was. I don't know. You know, I was pretty young back then.
Right.
But I have. That's a memory that I have, and of course, not too long after that, we moved to Dahlonega, Georgia, which is where Gold City started, and I was there for almost 4 years before the group relocated back to Gadsden. But I had a lot of great memories in Dahlonega. Floyd had a big farm. And for those of you who don't know, Floyd Beck is the man who started Gold City. He was a businessman. He had a trucking company and had a big farm there in Dahlonega and had chicken houses and cows and hogs and all that.
Yeah.
But he started Gold City, so, you know, he had that farm, and me and his son Bill were buddies. And
Was he your age?
Yeah, we were about the same age, and so I stayed over there all the time. I learned to drive it was one of them old Willis Jeeps.
Yeah.
Those World War II, I think.
Straight shift too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rode that thing all over that farm and
Pasture and
Yeah. Oh, out in the pasture.
Yeah.
Got in all kind of predicaments. Got chased by a bull one time. That was fun. But Dahlonega was a cool place for a kid. I had a lot of fun times there. And
Was there on that property was there rivers running through there or anything? Was there any of that, or was it? Because a lot of that North Georgia is a lot of.
I don't remember
gorges
any
and valley, you
I mean,
know.
I'm sure there was some creeks on it somewhere, but I don't remember.
You know, the story goes, and you may can shed some light on if this is true or not. The story I've always been told, speaking of Floyd Beck, was that somebody went to Eldridge Fox, and you know, back in the late 70s, it was a lot of family groups: the Hensons, the Hentpills,
Downings,
the Rambos, Goodmans. There was a lot of family. They had kind of overtaken the industry, family groups, and so somebody went to Eldridge and said, you know, we need some more good quartets. And so he went to two businessmen, Charlie Burke and Floyd Beck.
Really?
And Floyd acquired which would have been the Christianaires from Mississippi, and Charlie bought a group out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, called the Singing Americans. Well, he kept that name, but relocated them to Maiden, North Carolina, where the Singing Americans were out of. And that's how Gold City and the Singing that's the story that I was told.
Yeah, and I've never heard that. Is
that Foxy approached Floyd and Charlie to start a new group.
He probably would have known that Floyd Beck his dad had a group called Gold City, right?
Yeah, back in I think it was in the 50s. We called him Pop, Floyd's daddy. He had a group. I've seen a picture of them around one of those, I don't know what you call them, those little panel van looking things.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and Floyd was a friend of gospel music. We went to Floyd and Mary Ann's house years before that even started. When I was
really?
So
did he know the Southman, or just knew your dad?
No, he loved Southman. In fact, he had a little airplane.
Wow.
And he wanted them to sing at his church. And in fact, I was talking to Floyd's pilot. It's probably been a year ago. He came to one of our concerts. And he was telling me about coming over to Gadsden and picking them up to go over to Dahlonega to sing at his church.
That's wild. Wow.
But I remember going to Floyd and Mary Ann's as just a very small kid. But Floyd was a friend of gospel music. He's had a lot of friends, and he loved it.
His daughter still comes to hear us.
Kathy.
Now. Yeah.
Yep, Kathy still comes to hear us. And but yeah, the Gold City, they wouldn't be here without Floyd.
Well, yeah, of course.
So Floyd passed away in 84.
Yes.
And then the group relocated back to Gadsden.
Right. And I guess enough time has passed for me to tell this. It's interesting. Dad was leaving the group. He wanted to go back home, and he was leaving Gold City. And we went ahead and moved back to Gadsden, or Glencoe. And, he was still singing with them. And then they talked him into staying, but they all moved to Gadsden. All of them moved.
Well, there was no reason to stay in Dahlonega.
No, not really.
Mr. Beck had died.
Nobody had any ties to Dahlonega.
Well, and then when Floyd Beck passed away, his wife didn't want anything to do. She didn't want to own Gold City.
No.
So it basically become it was just up for grabs.
Yeah, they wanted to keep it going, and so they all, of course, Brian never lived in Gadsden, or Dahlonega. He lived in Douglasville, around Douglasville, Georgia. But Ivan and Mike never did either. But Ivan moved to Gadsden, Gary moved to Gadsden. All of them.
Some
moved.
of the band guys.
Yeah, and Dad he moved back home. He was leaving the group.
Yeah. And at that time, 84, that would have been Jerry Ritchie was still there.
Right.
So
yeah,
then
Jerry moved to Gadsden.
Jerry did also.
Yep.
And then 85 is when he ended up leaving.
Right. Well, it was the end of '84. Mike Lefevre started either right at the end of '84 or right at the beginning of '85. I can't remember, but
Wow. That's really when it kind of they had a good bit of success, and I want to get into all that, but for you, just being over there in Dahlonega, that experience, you talk about Miss Grindle.
oh yeah.
I'll tell that story because a lot of people hadn't heard the.
Well, Miss Grindle,
You were at Grindle Hollow.
We lived in Grindle Holler.
Holler.
Yeah.
Holler.
Grindle Hollow. No, we lived out in Grindle Holler. It was just out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I rode the bus to school, and it was a 45-minute drive.
Did Floyd have property or houses out there or something? Or
Well,
was
no, not in Grindle Holler. Floyd had, he had some trailers.
Yeah, Gary talks about living in the trailers on the hog
a lot of
farm.
those guys
Yeah.
lived out there. But Dad rented a house from the Grindles.
Okay.
And there was Jessie and Sewell. Jessie being the wife of Sewell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
then their kids lived out there amongst them. And then Miss Grindle, who was, the matriarch, she lived right next door to us. And she just loved me for some reason. And I'd go to Miss Grindle's all the time. I cut her grass for her. She paid me $5.
Man, you just always been the businessman.
Oh yeah,
Buddy.
yeah. But yeah, I spent a lot of time over there with her. She loved to feed me. She'd fix me a hamburger about every time I went over there.
Oh yeah. She have buns or loaf bread?
Loaf bread.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and government cheese.
And that's the best cheese.
It's the best
ever.
cheese.
I don't know what that was.
I don't either, and I don't know where you can get it anymore.
I don't know that you can. Did you? No, you didn't have it. You,
I've never.
of course not. My
Is it
pawpaw
like hoop
would
cheese?
get it. Yeah,
I
but
think
it-
so, yeah.
it was the best. It was
I've had
incredible.
hoop cheese, yeah.
It was incredible.
No,
but
it was government cheese. It wasn't hoop cheese that you got at the fancy store. No.
Well, I was
It's
just
probably the
asking if
only
it was
thing.
similar.
The only thing I've ever liked about our government was the cheese.
That cheese. 100%.
Merry Christmas, everyone. This is Jeff Chapman of Gold City, inviting you this holiday season to our presentation of a Gold City Christmas 2025 tour. Come join us for a wonderful evening of Christ-centered songs of the season, featuring the Band of Gold live and our special guests, Jim and Melissa Brady,
How I'm longing to ski through the snow.
and the Irwins.
Goodwill, may your dreams take flight.
We will be visiting 12 cities on our 2025 Christmas tour and performing songs off of our brand new Christmas album, Hope in a Manger. Go to goldcityministries.com for all the details, and we'll see you this Christmas season.
One of my favorite stories that you tell living in Dahlonega was the story that you remember of when Gold City got their first #1 song,
Yeah.
which would have been, I think I'll read it again.
Yeah, I just remember Ivan and Teresa lived in Grindle Holler too. They had a
Okay.
mobile home that they put in
Close
a
to y'all?
pasture right next to us. It was like
Okay.
in a pasture.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember they found out that song was #1, and Ivan's wife Teresa, of course, I was out in the yard playing. She came running out of their mobile home, and Mama came off the back porch of the house there, and they were both just all, of course, I was
Screaming
just
and
like,
carrying on.
I
excited.
thought something done went wrong, but they were just so excited about that #1 song. I'll
That's
never
neat.
forget that. That was, you remember stuff like that, and at the time you didn't think nothing about it, but those are cool little memories.
Well, I was going to ask you, at what point in after that, after they relocated and after Gold City started seeing its rise, did you realize that something was happening as far as the tides changing? I mean, I know you were just kind of a teenager
did.
probably at that point. But,
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I mean,
I mean, obviously you did when they started winning the the awards and got the recognition,
Right.
but
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were doing great. But I'm, as far as I was concerned, from the time I was a little boy, my daddy was a superstar.
right.
Yeah.
Y'all
I mean, he
back-
was on TV. You'd see him on TV.
Yeah, oh yeah, but even before that, when I was like in the '70s, Dad ran. He sold mobile homes.
Yeah.
Adventure Mobile Homes, and they would have those radio remotes,
Oh yeah.
and I'd hear Dad talking on the radio.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, we got this 70-foot single. So I thought Dad was famous even back then, because he was on the radio.
Well, he's kind of always been.
So back in those days, what did you want to do with your, life? When you saw your dad on stage, did you want to sing? Did you have a
Always
desire
wanted
to
to
sing
sing.
with Gold City, or
I
do
don't
your
remember.
own thing? Or
Well, I never thought I would sing with Gold City. I mean, I never, as far as I knew, that group would stay together forever, know. And I never even thought that I would ever be with Gold City. And I tried out for different groups. I sang with a couple of local groups and
What was the name of the group that Terry, you and Terry?
Southern Harmony.
Southern Harmony. That was right out of high school.
Yes. And then I sang, I don't remember what the name of the group was, but it was Don and Daphne Brooks. I sang with them at different churches.
How old
and
were you?
stuff. That was after Southern Harmony. So I was probably 20, something like that.
Did you ever go with your dad, like go ride with the Southmen or whatever? Because they would.
I don't remember ever going with
Do you
the
not?
Southmen, no.
Okay.
I remember going with Gold City. The dad, I didn't go to the National Quartet Convention until I was 15 years old.
The family just didn't go, or did your mom go?
Mom would go.
She would.
Yeah, but kids, we get rambunctious and all that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I didn't go on the road with Dad, but just a few times in those real early days.
Just worried. He worried about it, didn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well,
they-
you do. I mean, we. Do
I mean,
as
back then
parents.
they had like 9 people on
Yeah.
the bus, and you had a kid running around romping. I wanted, but man, when I got to go on a trip, oh man, I mean, I'd be up for a week. I couldn't
bet.
sleep, excited about getting on the bus, And
You hated to leave Glencoe, Alabama, but I mean, the excitement of Glencoe, Alabama as a child in the '80s.
man, that's some of my greatest memories. I remember Jerry's son Jason and me. We were close to the same age. I think he was a little bit younger than me, but we went on a trip. Me and him both went on
Really?
a trip together. Yeah.
Is he older than Greg?
No, Greg's older.
The
Greg's
oldest.
Doug's age.
Okay.
Yeah. But
We're talking about Greg Ritchie that plays with. I played with the Isaacs, and he played for Gaither for a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, married to Charlotte Ritchie.
yeah, a lot of people don't know that his dad was Jerry
with
that
Gold
sang
City.
with Gold City. Yeah.
was the original lead singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug and Greg were big buddies.
Really?
And Greg wanted to play the drums, so him and Doug, would talk drums all the
So
time.
I wonder if both of them kind of learned from Noski, like it was.
Oh, I'm sure.
Watching Noski and John Noski.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
He was an incredible drummer.
Yes, he was.
From what I mean, I don't remember. I mean, I remember hearing him some, but from what I understand, he was just a metronome, basically,
Oh, he was great.
always locked in.
Doug always, bragged on John Noski about, how he learned from watching him play.
Yeah.
But,
Were you and Doug close as brothers?
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because what was the separation?
2 years.
And then Amy was the baby.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, we were 2 years apart, all three
Okay,
of us.
really?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but no, those I would get so excited about going.
Did he ever go with? Did you and Doug ever go at the same time, or did your dad?
Not
just
that
wouldn't
I
take you?
recall.
Really, he would take one or the other.
Yeah. Of course, now I did go on some trips after Doug started playing the drums, and we'd
Yeah.
of course be on those trips together. But I was older by then, and
Probably
You
put you to helping with something too.
Oh yeah, they put me to work. They didn't have to put me. I mean, I was gung ho.
Yeah.
That's all I ever wanted to do. I don't remember ever wanting to do anything.
Wait a second.
but
So you
sing.
mean you'd get out and load equipment in and
Oh
roll
yeah, back then I
cables? and
would. Yeah.
Wonder what happened.
Well, about 25 injuries.
No,
what
truthfully, you did that when I first got here. You would always go in and you got hurt somehow. And I said, Danny, please just go sit on the bus. And you did.
Well,
So it's worked out well.
have a tendency to tear things up these days, including
And
myself.
yourself. Yeah, that's the main thing is you're tearing yourself up.
Speaking of equipment, you had an interest in sound engineering.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a kid, I would go into those studios, when they recorded.
I guess you had to go to Nashville, didn't you?
Yeah,
So you would get to go up there sometimes?
sometimes, and that was just,
That was a huge deal.
Oh yeah, and just
mean, that-
watching all that happen. I mean, I loved that, and so I had a desire to do that as well. And when it came time, I graduated high school in '91, and I got a.
Valedictorian.
I was valedictorian
How
of
many
my
was in
class
your
of
class?
7. Hey,
You know how long it took me to get him to tell me how many people was in the class? He told me it was valedictorian, but he didn't say how many was in. And finally, one day he said there were 7 people in my class.
Well,
But you were still number 1.
that's still an accomplishment.
That's the
well,
top.
I mean, I did. I had a good GPA.
Yeah.
It was like 3.9 or 8.
Well, I mean, you got
or
a
something.
scholarship.
I had a 2-year scholarship.
Scholarship.
That. I had one of those to Gadsden State Community College. I had
Yeah.
a 2-year free ride, and I went for 2 weeks,
Mm.
and I was just like, this is not what I want to do. And Dad was pretty upset about it.
He wasn't pleased.
He wasn't, because Dad was never, he didn't. He tried to discourage, son, go to school, and don't. If this ever happens for you, it happens. But if it don't, you've got to have something else to fall back on. But I didn't. I just couldn't
Could you
get into
even
it.
come up with an interest to be at that school?
No.
I mean, like, because some go right in and they got a major and they got an idea of what they
No.
want to do. That's the way it was with
I
me.
knew
had no idea.
I knew what I wanted to do, and I mean, in hindsight, I probably should have done it. But honestly, I don't regret not doing it.
Right.
Because I ended up going to engineering school, learn how to be a recording engineer.
How long? How much longer after that was it that you actually got to go there?
I wasn't maybe a year.
Okay.
But see, I was working in the studio before that because,
So they already had that studio there?
yes, I helped build the studio there.
Okay.
Jerry Lloyd, who used to play the steel guitar for Gold City, he was a recording engineer.
And he's married to your cousin also.
And he's married to my first cousin, Gina.
Yeah.
They've been married for like 110 years.
And Jerry is
They don't
actually-
listen to this podcast, so I can say that.
Yeah.
No, they got married when we were still in Dahlonega.
Really?
Yes.
And he was playing for Gold City then, playing
Yes.
steel?
Yep. And they lived. We lived in Grindle Holler for 2 years. This is going all over the place.
That's
It
all
is,
right.
but that's all right.
And then we moved out to Camp Wasiga Road there in Dahlonega, which is where Floyd's house was on that road. But anyway, Jerry and Gina got married, and they got a mobile home and put it right on the lot next to our house because
Oh, okay.
Gina was a scaredy cat. And she didn't want to be there by herself, so
That
we were
makes
right
sense.
next door. And
And they were
Um,
probably young, weren't they?
oh yeah, they was very young.
Yeah.
But anyway, I forgot
So
what
he
we were
helped you
talking
build. Jerry helped you build the
Yes.
studio.
So Jerry, he was a recording engineer, and a guy named Clayton McKenzie had a studio in Oxford, Alabama. And Gold City would go down there and do some of those three for tens.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Dad had bought that, or Gold City had bought that property that had a church. It was a church that had split off of another church, and they didn't make it. And Dad bought that property, and that became the Gold City offices, and we had a lot of room there. So Clayton rented a part of the building and put that studio in there. And me and him and Jerry built it. They had it designed. Some guy in Atlanta drew out the. And Jerry's a great carpenter. I mean, he's a builder.
That's a great studio. I mean, as far as the structure and the
bones,
the treatment.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. That was a great experience just being a part of that because I mean,
you said they brought sand. Is it sand in?
I
under
brought sand in.
You brought. There wasn't no they about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you had the control room, the floor. You know, it was 2x8 floor joists.
So you had to fill it
on
up
concrete,
so it's dead.
But those had to float.
Yeah.
And then you filled it in with sand. And yeah, I put about 8,000 wheelbarrow loads of sand in that floor.
Well, you were young and strong. It worked out well.
Oh yeah.
And you were excited.
Absolutely.
Back then, you had excitement in your life.
But to see the way that studio came together, you know, that control room is a room built. It's its own structure built independently of the structure. I mean, it's. But anyway, that was cool seeing that, and I started doing some engineering. Learned a lot from Jerry, and Clayton would let me mess around over there with the stuff, and I started recording some little groups, doing some sessions, and then.
Were you even 20-year-old by this time?
Yeah, I think so.
Around that age.
Yeah, but I'd even go over to Oxford with Jerry, yeah. But and I honestly don't remember how old I was. I'm trying to remember when I was either in high school. I think I was in high school when we built the studio. Maybe my senior year.
When did they buy the property? Do you remember?
I bought the property in '86.
Okay.
Right around 85, 86. But anyway, and then I decided I wanted to learn more, so I went to a place in Chillicothe, Ohio called the Recording Workshop, which was I mean, it wasn't a university by any means. It was just basically like a tech school, and I spent a couple of months up there and did every program they offered. And I got pretty heavily into it after that, and that's what I did.
You said that's where they had the reverb chambers and all the.
Oh yeah, they had actual plate reverbs, which nobody listening to this probably know what I'm talking about. But I got to see a lot of cool stuff, you know. And back then we were still all analog.
Yeah.
There was no digital recording.
You had to be highly skilled to do that.
Yeah, it was
not that you don't now. People are still, but there was a real art form to recording.
Let's just say there was no tuning. There was no undo button.
Right. You had to get it.
You had to
if
get
you missed
it right.
that take, you missed it. Period.
Yes.
If you're punching, and you don't get it right, it's the engineer's fault.
Yes.
And that artist is in there, and they're mad.
They might have just got the perfect take, and you messed it up with a bad punch.
And they're mad.
Yeah, and plus you also had to I mean, I still use the terminology. It needs to be good going to tape.
Right.
You had to. Now you can. I mean, it makes a difference now, too. But a lot of people record stuff and just haphazardly record it, and then you've got 4,000 different plug-ins to put on it, and
make it sound good.
They can
put
replace
it on
drum
pitch.
sounds and tune and all that kind of stuff. And back then, it had to be good going down, and yeah, it was fascinating to me. And from that time, that's what I did. And I eventually bought the studio. Another guy bought it from Clayton, and then he went bankrupt. And I bought that studio out of bankruptcy.
There you go, being a businessman again. You swoop right in at the right time.
And it was called Mid-South Recording. When I bought it, I changed the name to the Gold Mine Recording Studio. And I did a bunch of recording. That's how I made my living for a long time before I started on the road. I started on the road in '96, and I got married in '98.
Well, we're gonna get to that, but we got to talk about this a second.
Okay.
So, what was your first time that you actually got to engineer? And I'm talking about Gold City, not somebody.
Capella Gold.
You worked on Pillars of Faith.
I don't think I did.
Did you not?
No.
Okay, so so your first experience engineering was Acapella Gold for
Yes.
Gold City,
Yes, I mean
What-
I didn't do the whole record.
which we joke about this, but they literally broke up after that. I always joke with Gary that because they
split
said
the
that
group
was
up.
excruciating, and I understand, I get it, because I've been in on an acapella song with Gary, and it was and I know he did it then. He literally would. Gary did things as it came to him. He would.
Oh yeah, well he'd sit down. I mean, on Acapella Gold, I was there for a lot of it. Jerry Lloyd engineered a lot
Yeah.
of it, and I engineered some of it. But I mean, it was literally Gary gets around the piano,
right.
teaches them 2 lines.
What?
Then they
While
record
he's
it.
also figuring it out. See,
Yes.
that's the thing about him. That's what would be so frustrating as a singer, because he might be in there for an hour and a half, and you're just sitting there,
Yeah.
and then then he'll bring you in there and teach it to you.
Yeah, I mean, he would have no idea what he was going to do on
No.
line 3. He
No.
got lines 1 and 2, and then after we got those down, then he'd go sit down
Go
at the
sit down
piano
by
and figure
himself.
out the next.
Yeah. That would drive you crazy. It used to drive me crazy
Yeah.
because we would do it in Nashville, and I wanted to be home.
Right.
I didn't want to be. It felt like the biggest waste of time. Now I wouldn't take anything in the world for it now.
Yeah.
Because I listened back to those recordings with Mercy's Mark, and just the couple of acapella tunes that we did were incredible.
Well, I was gonna say, and you just did 2 cuts that
2.
way.
They
Just
did
imagine
10.
But
a whole
you know,
record of,
Yeah.
of that.
But I mean, everything on the album was not excruciating. I mean,
No, I'm sure
those
some
guys
of it really
were
flew.
so incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they heard parts so well,
Right.
and I mean, though it was challenging, it didn't take them long to get it. But
Yeah.
you've got that process of, and there were some parts of it that were excruciating. Of
I
course,
bet.
Dad would complain because it was so weird,
Yeah.
to his ear, and
There was some and we will release that album at some point
Yes.
through the Vault series and all
of
the
course,
things that we're
Sadie
doing.
says it's got to be on vinyl.
It will. I say it's got to be on vinyl, don't you?
It's coming.
That's the only
Yeah.
thing that Sadie's.
That's all I can
asked.
say.
That's all we're gonna talk about that. But that's Sadie loved that album,
Oh yes,
and Sadie's kind of a music nut.
yes,
little
and
bit,
she
too.
she said,
A professional in the business, we call that audio file.
Audiophile.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, she
Okay.
asks me, no joke.
I'm
Every
thinking of a
couple
few other
weeks.
words if you want me to.
She asked me when she's going to be on the podcast, so y'all
Hey,
have to
well,
get
we
that
will.
scheduled.
We'll make it happen. I'd love to talk to Sadie.
But yeah, that was just being in that, being a witness to that process. Acapella Gold was cool.
So think about that. You probably have never really processed this. Pillars of Faith. They're following up Pillars of Faith with Acapella Gold,
Right.
and that was Norman Holland came to. I think the Cathedrals had cut that acapella thing they had done with Larry,
Yeah.
and I think Norman thought the Gold City needs to do this because there was a lot of that went on.
Right.
He came to Gary, and Gary was a little reluctant. He didn't want
Well,
Gary to.
they did that "'Tis So Sweet" on Pillars
Yeah.
of Faith,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what started that. Y'all
That
need
whole
to do a
thing.
whole album.
Yeah,
And it's funny because they did the record, and Benson, Norman, or whoever at that time said it wasn't long enough.
the album.
Yes. So then they went in and added to some of the songs that they'd already done.
Really?
Yeah, they started adding to what was already there.
Oh wow.
Well-
Didn't just cut another song. They took, I don't remember what song it was, but
Man,
they
that would be neat to. We're
added
gonna have
a
Ivan
whole-
on soon. He may remember some of that.
yeah,
too.
they added a whole nother section, and
Well, it was a
and then they
masterpiece.
also added "'Tis So Sweet" to Acapella Gold.
But
that they
you're
had
so
recorded.
the point of all that is getting back to the point. You're having to physically punch
Oh yeah,
tape
yes,
for all that,
yes,
and then Gary's going, "Did you get it?"
yep.
And did you ever have to say, "I don't think I got it"?
I don't remember. I was so, I wanted to do it,
Yeah.
do good so bad that
What I was going to say, you're literally coming off of Pillars of Faith. They'd already been sweeping all the fan awards, but they won a Dove with their Rose of Lamb.
right.
So this was the follow up to that Dove. I mean, you don't get any bigger in gospel music
Right.
than that. But did you feel any of that pressure?
Not really.
You think you're just too young and dumb to?
Well, I'd been around that my whole life,
It's
so
just-
it was. But I did want to do good. I mean,
Yeah,
I
of course.
I've always taken pride in anything that I do, and to this day, if I'm in the studio, I take pride in my work.
Oh, that's evident.
And I wanted it bad enough that I don't. I mean, I'm sure I missed punches here and there.
But it wasn't anything crucial.
No,
Probably.
I mean
They
it
were
wasn't-
they were such good singers anyway. That
Oh yeah.
they could do it
You know,
again.
yeah. Sometimes you have to say, "Man, I missed that punch. Grab it one
Yeah.
more time," and they'd do it again. It was
Yeah.
fine. But
So you went on to engineer. You engineered Acapella Gold. You engineered most of the Gold City or all the Gold City stuff thereafter. Matter of fact, we just released Standing in the Gap
That was the first one you mixed.
in
wasn't
its 30th year, and I don't know. You were in the credits as the engineer on that one.
it? Well, yeah, and then
yeah, I did a lot of the engineering on Standing in the Gap.
and then
Yep.
then he also y'all got the mix back, and they hated the mix. Whoever
yeah,
did it.
I think they left out on a trip out west up into Canada and all that. They were going to be gone for 18 days. And I took the record to Nashville to have it mixed. I don't remember who did it, and if I remembered, I wouldn't say because
You won't even say when you really don't remember it because I've asked you. I've tried to get you to tell me.
I
who it
think I
was.
know, but I'm not.
You're
Gonna
just
say
not
it.
going to. Well, when we get through, you can tell me.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. But no, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to tell this, highly acclaimed engineer what to do on the mix. But that's why I was there. But I didn't. So
I'm guessing you didn't like the mix either, did you?
no, especially after I remixed it.
Yeah.
But I sent them. I FedExed them a cassette of the mix.
Wow.
And Dad called me and said, "Son, this, what? I thought you was going." They didn't like it, and
He
so,
said A, but he did. I thought you was going to oversee. I mean, I'm sure.
why didn't you tell them when you were there? Because I was like, "Well, I agree. This wasn't loud enough, or that."
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell them while you was there? So anyway, me and Jerry Lloyd remixed it. And of course, back then we had no automation. Everything was manually.
That's why
your
it took two
hands
people,
on
probably.
the faders.
Yeah.
And Jerry would, he'd mix the tracks, and I would mix the vocals. We'd be sitting next to each other on the big console
In that room.
driving it.
In Gadsden.
Yes.
Glencoe. Yeah.
Yep. And me and him mixed a good number of records after that for Gold City.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that probably just started the process because you proved yourself there. Why would you have somebody else do
Yeah,
it?
so we did it together, and
And Jerry did a lot of mixes for Gold City before, didn't he?
yeah, a good many, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jerry had Jerry got involved with Ricky Skaggs,
Right.
and he didn't have as much time, so I was doing a lot more engineering, and
He kind of moved on to that Skaggs thing after Gary left and Mark left, because Mark ended up with Skaggs.
yeah, Mark I think was
Fane. We're
was
talking
the
about Mark
one that
Fane.
kind of helped Jerry get in with Ricky Skaggs, and he
Yeah.
was with him for 20 years.
Did he play?
No, he started out as the monitor engineer,
Okay.
and then he became like their tour manager, and he ran front of house for Ricky.
That's probably what put him in because he ended up ultimately driving.
Yes,
At least like for him.
an incredible steel guitar player.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Jerry Lloyd.
yeah, but the recording engineering is something that I've always loved and still do. I mean, I love it.
So tell them the story about how you got your vocal on the Preparing the Way. David Hill had left.
Yeah, we did the album Preparing the Way. David Hill was still with Gold City.
Did
and
he get all of that done? Did he
Yes.
do all the album?
We were done.
Do you have a copy of that?
There's
I
some
don't know.
clips floating. I mean, there's some clips that,
Really?
that are floating around.
Okay.
I mean, we hadn't mixed it yet, but we were done.
Yeah.
And David left to start a group with
Yeah, that's right. That
a group
was
called
it Malachi.
Yeah.
He was the the piano player that was playing with Gold.
Yeah.
Was it Jenkins?
Yes.
Shane.
Shane
Jenkins was playing piano, and him and David left to go.
No relation, by the way.
To go start that. So they hired Jonathan. So we brought Jonathan in to recut just leads. Like he's still on the throne.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff, if you listen, David's still on it.
Yeah, you can hear David in some of the stacks and groups.
But we
singing.
were up against a hard deadline.
Right.
Back then,
You had to get what
very
you
hard
get.
deadlines.
Well, there was a release date, and it was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Period. Because that was still with Benson, right?
Yes. So we brought Jonathan in to do whatever songs. I don't remember all of them, but we didn't get to It's Still the Cross. So they were leaving, and I asked Dad, I was like, what are we going to do with It's Still the Cross? I mean, do you want to keep it on the record? Do you want to leave David on it? How do you want to do that?
Well, you couldn't do that.
They had to leave, and we had a hard deadline.
Yeah.
So he said, well, you just sing it. And
He did admit he didn't really like the song.
well, Dad,
He said it was just too contemporary. He didn't really like it.
He felt like it was contemporary.
So, and you know what? Your vocal kind of fit that style anyway.
well, in that time of my life, I was a little more progressive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you very much were.
I wanted to be more progressive.
But you had already, so you during that same time, you sang with Tony Gore.
I sang with Tony Gore for 9 months.
Yeah, and then you come back.
Yeah, right after I cut It's Still the Cross, I went on the road with Gold City.
Right, running sound.
Well, I ran product table.
Really? Were they running sound from the stage?
Yes. And then I left and went with Tony Gore, and I was there for 9 months. And then I came back to Gold City, and that's when I started running sound.
Out front.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just kind of that's how it started.
You got your first big song from your dad
Well,
saying.
really his signature song.
Yeah, to this day. We have to sing it about every night.
Yeah, but that's just that's the way that happened. But I did the vocal on it, and then we mixed it and
There it was.
made the deadline.
Nobody had a clue. Well, we're going to stop right there because we're about 45, 50 minutes into this thing, and we'd want to. This is to get in depth with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we're doing. It wasn't a. We got to get a podcast done. We did need to get a podcast done.
Before we go, I do want to talk about Danny is mixing and or helping to mix and engineered on our latest Christmas record.
Oh yeah.
We got a brand new Christmas.
Well, he did
record.
but he did so right now.
He did right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. On
Well,
right now.
To say that Danny is a little picky about the mix. So
Speaking of hard deadlines, we are up against a hard deadline.
Yeah, so he's going
And
tomorrow.
when we get back home,
Yep, until Tuesday
he's
night,
got 2
right?
days
Yep.
to get this mix
Get it finished. Yeah.
to get it into production because we
believe
got
he's
a
gonna do
Christmas tour coming up, by the way, for those
Yep.
of you who
With a
don't know.
brand
and
new Christmas album.
brand new Christmas
it's going
album.
to be really good too.
It is really good.
I'm
It is.
excited about it. This is the record gets to this phase, and that's when I really feel it all come together.
Yeah.
And being that I've always been this way, I engineer the vocals. I'm already in my mind. I've got a vision for the mix.
Right.
So when you get to the mix, that's the most exciting part to me because
Well,
then
I'm gonna say this too, and I don't, you know me, I don't brag a lot, but honest to goodness, Danny's blown me away on this album.
Yeah.
I haven't even told you, I ain't told any of you
well, Josh, I appreciate
the
it.
things that you have done creatively with the background vocals and the really neat thing to me about Danny is he's extremely capable.
Oh yeah.
Extremely gifted, extremely capable. He doesn't act that way. If I have an idea and present it, he's like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that. If you have an idea, that's a lot of people aren't that way.
No,
I mean, I've worked with
that's
people in the past that see that they don't even want to hear it.
Well, the sooner you realize that you're not the smartest man in the room, the better you are. You surround yourself with people that are extremely talented. I mean, you don't want to just discount their ideas and their. I mean, you guys are artists just like I am, And I think what makes something like this great is that everybody has a voice, and you might think of something that I didn't think of.
Yeah.
Chris, and that's just the way it works.
It's really
I
neat.
may say I don't really like that.
And you got to have
disagree.
somebody that's gonna make that call.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys are so talented. It makes it pretty easy. I mean,
well, it's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate your attitude with all of it and your hard work. And this has been this album honestly has been a joy. It's been really neat.
It's been an enjoyable experience. It's been,
but at the same
we've
time,
been up against a deadline,
and we've been running ourselves ragged.
We have, but it's been an enjoyable. Working
really
with Danny
has.
is an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And I have to say this because I worked with a lot of people, and I'm not saying anything against anybody else, but since I've come to Gold City, it's been an enjoyable recording experience because Danny makes it so.
well, y'all make it enjoyable for me, so
Well, we're all enjoying each other.
we're enjoying our enjoyment.
Anyway, well, let's get on out of here and
Next time on Double Take the podcast.
Okay.
Danny will talk about.
What will that
I
be?
don't know. We're about out of stuff to talk
Well,
about.
we
just
want
getting
to talk about your family and Holly and the kids, and we'll talk
There's
about
a lot
how to
there.
kind of
There's a
how
lot there.
the reins were handed over to you from your dad and everything that's.
There are some interesting
happened.
stories and all that.
Yeah.
So y'all be sure
We'll
to
get
tune
to
back in.
See you next time.
Bye, friends.
Dylan!
Bye, friends.
See you, friends.
See ya. Peace out, friends.